Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today I want to do an updated beginner's guide for Dokkan Battle for 2024. We are about to enter the anniversary. I'm recording this mid-June 2024, so we're roughly about 2 weeks away from anniversary, and typically we'll get an influx of either new or returning players. So obviously, like, a full beginner's guide would just be like a ton of information for one video. So I'm just going to gear this video around some specific things, and then if you have more questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments, or you can join my Discord, which is posted in the description of the video if you have further questions, right? But what I'm going to focus this video on is kind of what the first things you should be doing as you're starting a new account, and then kind of how to start your first teams and the first teams you should be building, because the game builds in two pretty solid free-to-play teams that you can start with, and these teams will get you by through a lot of the content. And then the third thing I want to talk about is kind of your summoning philosophy and how should you be summoning in this game. Okay, so I'm going to talk about kind of the summoning and kind of starting points first, and then we'll go into the team stuff because that's going to be like the main part of the video, right? So when you start a new account, one of the first things you should be doing is trying to just scrape together like a beginner team that you can do some basic content with, and you're going to start grinding out your dragon stones, and the dragon stones are the main thing you're going to use to summon. The two main places where you're going to start to do like your easy dragon stone grinding, it's going to be the Dokkan Quest story. So if I go into here, there's going to be a ton of chapters of content in here, and just a ton of fights you can do to get dragon stones. The one tip I'm going to give you for this is when you go into any stage, there's going to be multiple difficulties. So let's say I go into here, you're going to see there's going to be hard, Z hard, and super. The super difficulty isn't really hard at all. Now, obviously, if like you're a fresh account and you have like no characters, you might not be able to do super right away, but I think you can, even with just like a friend unit, probably scrape by. So what I would have tried to do is when you're doing these quest stages, try to complete it on super, because then it auto completes the other ones for you and you get a stone for each stage. So that's going to be like your, like when you just want to grind out dragon stones, you're going to be sitting there. And then I think Dragon Ball Story is the other place. So if I go back to the home page and I go to start, at the top you'll see this Dragon Ball Story tab. And then these also, they're very similar. They're just very easy grindable stages. And some of these actually have some pretty solid free-to-play units in it that you can get. Notably, if you start off on this Dragon Ball Z stage here, there should be a grindable Goku. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Hold on. One of these has a very good grindable Goku, and it's actually been like so long since I've done it. But there is a grindable free-to-play Goku in one of these, like an LR that you can get. It shouldn't be in this one. This one also, though, this one has like a ridiculously good Dragon Ball Saga LR, so that's like a really good one you could grind out. But yeah, just look around, and I would start going through these and grinding out. I don't think it was in movies, but we can look in here. Unless they moved where he is, but there's a physical LR free-to-play Goku. It's been like legitimately so long since I've grinded him out. Actually, no, you know what? I think he is in here. I think it is like in Dragon Ball Z. I just don't think you grind him from a stage. I think it's like a reward unit or something. There's going to be like a beginner campaign, and I think one of the reward units you get is an LR Goku, but I think you have to do Dragon Ball Story. But just know that this is another place you can grind free stones. And you'll maybe get a couple of good free-to-play units along the way. So those are some just general, really easy stages you can just grind. Now, the game is going to be full of tons of stages and events you can do. I'm not going to go over all of that in this video because that's just a ton of content. But once again, this is more about starting points and what you should be doing. So in terms of what should you be summoning for with these dragon stones, what I would be doing, especially right now, if you're starting an account like in June, July, you want to focus on just the anniversary banners. And what I would do if you just in general want to know best Dokkan summoning philosophy, pretty much you want to summon only during the major celebrations. Those banners have a ton of value. The banners are going to be filled with the best Dokkan Fest units that have been released throughout the year. Maybe some older ones that have like EZAs, which are Extreme Z Awakenings, where are stronger awakenings on units. Because one thing Dokkan does, once again, I'm treating this as a beginner video, like you don't know anything about the game. This game does something called EZAs, which are Extreme Z Awakenings, and now has Super EZAs, which is another awakening beyond that. Essentially what this does is it takes units that are really old and bad and gives them new reworks to make them really good again. So always hold on to any summonable units you get, never get rid of them, because the game at some point will probably make them good again, and they're insanely good, right? So Just keep that in mind. But what you want to do is you want to only summon during the major celebrations. So any just normal banners. So like right now, there's just like on global, right? There's just like this Frieza banner. I wouldn't touch that. I know there's going to be discounts. They're going to be throwing shiny things at you. Just don't touch them. The regular banners typically aren't nearly as worth it. I consider regular banners just like a premium thing if like you're someone that's willing to spend a little bit of money on the game, have extra resources. But if you're someone that's going to try to do this free to play, you want to summon for Anniversary, which right now is in July. But the game is about to sync, so assuming that it syncs moving forward, Anniversary is actually going to end up being in January. But July will be Tanabata, which is another summonable celebration anyways. So there should be a summonable celebration in July. And then it will be late August, early September, we do the worldwide celebration. I don't know if they'll change that after the games sync up, because right now JP and Global are on 2 different kind of schedules, but we are right now, as I'm recording this, supposed to be syncing very soon so that the games will be on the same schedule. But assuming that if they may not call it worldwide anymore, but they'll probably keep some big celebration early September, right? Christmas can be a decent time to summon. They typically like November, December, they'll have some good stuff there. And then otherwise Anniversary, and then like Golden Week, which is in May, is another great place to summon. Outside of those like really major celebrations, you should try to avoid summoning if at all possible. So what I would be doing right now if I were starting a new account, I would focus on just grinding easy content, saving all my stones, and pumping everything in Anniversary. And specifically, I'll talk about this Anniversary coming up, which is the 9th anniversary. If you summon correctly on the banners, you're going to be able to build like a really godly superhero team. So the first 2 banners that are going to drop, it's going to be a Gogeta on one banner and Broly on the other. And then in part 2, they're going to have a Beast Gohan and the Gammas. Okay. Your number 1 priority of all the units is Beast Gohan. But what I would attempt to do as a new player, if you can, try to summon a bit and get Gogeta. And then try to get Beast Gohan and then possibly even the Gammas on their banner. Broly's really good, but like as a new player, you're probably not going to have... He's more centralized around like an extreme team, which are like the bad guys. The super class units are the good guys, just so you guys know there's like a super and extreme class in the game. But as a brand new player, you're probably not going to have access to a ton of good extreme units. Broly's team is like super bosses. The banners won't set you up as well as the other banners will to build a full superhero team. Like if you just summon on Gogeta, Beast Gohan, even just Gogeta and Beast Gohan, even those 2 banners, you'll probably get enough godly units to build a really good superhero team. And that's what I would do as your first like major serious team in this game. And you're just going to get so much value out of those banners. So that's what I would do in terms of philosophy. So what you want to do to hold yourself over, and this is going to be the main part of the video, is you want to grind up your first free-to-play teams. Okay. And just so you guys know, in terms of team building, I just want to talk about this really quick. When you build a team, you need to put 6 units on a team. What's really important is this top left unit is considered your leader. You'll see it says the word leader up there. If you look at it, every unit has a leader skill, but the leader skill is only active if that unit is in the leader slot. So you want to make sure you put the correct unit in there that has a leader skill that benefits the whole team. You'll notice night and day difference. I've seen this with several like beginner players that like don't understand leader skill, and they'll run a team and the units will be really weak. They won't understand why they're not doing well with good units. It's because if the leader skill doesn't hit your team, the units are pretty much defenseless. Like you need the leader skill to hit everybody to give them a lot of buffs. Units get a ton of their stats from the leader. When you read a leader skill, it's typically going to be categories. So for example, this Bardock says Goku's family or storied figures. The characters, any characters that belong on those categories will get a majority of the leader skill buff. And then there's a secondary category that'll get another little buff, depending, but you don't have to have that. You just want to make sure that like the main categories at the top, that your whole team fits on that. Okay. So what we're going to do is for your first starting team, you can free to play actually build 2 really good teams that can beat most of the content in the game other than like the high level content. But in terms of doing Dokkan events and things that are going to help you power up your future characters, these teams can do that, right? And so you're going to be able to have fun and play a ton of the game with a fresh account, not having anything built. There's a ton of the game you're going to be able to beat with these easy free-to-play teams. So where those are is if you go to the start menu and you go to event, you want to go into this growth tab. And what you're going to see is there's going to be Ginu Force special training and there's going to be a Team Bardock stage. So there's basically these two stages are the two teams. So you're going to be able to build a full Team Bardock team, and you're going to be able to do a full Ginu team. Now on global right now specifically, they're a little bit more focused on the Bardock stuff. There's like some extra missions with them, but the Ginu Force stuff you can do as well. Both teams, in my opinion, are equally good and worth running. Depending on how you want to spend your time, I think both teams are worth grinding out. But if you're just anxious to get into like one team and get started, you could just pick one and kind of start with that, right? So here's how you start to grind out your units. So let's use the Ginu Force as an example. So I go into here, and you're going to see 6 stages. The first 5 stages are going to be for a specific character, and then stage 6 is going to be to get equips for the team. Stage 6 isn't as important, I think, as a brand new account. You don't have to stress about getting equips for these guys. I'll talk about them and how to use them, but you want to clear it at least once and do any missions related to that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into stage 1, and then this is going to be for Birder. So I'm going to go into here, do the stage. You can actually use any team you want. They don't restrict you on teams here. So just whatever kind of team you can make early on. You might want to try to, at least with whatever characters they give you to start, try to level them up. Now, when you go into the stage, you're going to have 2 paths. One is I can just go right to Birder, or I can take the Cloud and go to the top route. You always want to take the top route. The boss is a little bit harder, but these bosses aren't hard at all. It just might be like your first couple runs when you don't have any semblance of a team. There is a chance you might not be able to beat them. So if you need to, use the bottom path just to start to get the members. And what you might want to do is you might want to do each stage just like once to get each Ginu Force member just to have them. And then you can start using them as your team to beat them. And then you should be able to start to use the top route, right? So I'm going to take the top route just to show you what it looks like. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to step on these pads that give you skill orbs. These are used to help awaken, or not awaken, but like rainbow the character. We'll talk about what that means in a minute. And then the last one gives you awakening medals to awaken them to the next state. So I'm going to go through and fight this boss here. It should be relatively quick. So I'll just hit my orbs here. Once again, being a beginner video, you might not even understand what's going on with the orbs and stuff. Essentially, you're just grabbing ki with the characters. As long as the characters get enough ki, they'll do their super attacks. That's really what you want to do. You want to try to grab the same color as the character because you get more ki and you actually heal HP when you do that. Okay, just as really basics, right, for beginners. This boss has 2 phases, so we're going to go ahead and just attack again here. Okay, we're just going to let all the units attack through. Well, just this guy will attack and then they'll die. And then if you take the top route, you will get 2 copies of the character. Now, like I said, depending on what, like, it's been obviously years since I've started a brand new account. So I have no idea what they're going to give you right out of the gate. They might give you just a couple of SSRs or something right out of the gate to be able to put together some kind of a team. So if you feel like your team right away can beat the top route, do that. Now, I ended up getting 4 characters. You won't get these bonus ones. These are based on me having a really high power level. You're not going to have that as a new player. So the most you're going to get is 2 here. Okay. So in this stage, I got a couple of copies of Birder. I got these potential orbs, which we need to help power them up. And we got the awakening medals. Now, what I would do is when you're ready to like seriously grind out the character, right? Like I said, you might do each of these first 5 stages like once just to start a team out. But then if I go into my team character list, you can see I've got 21 copies of Birder here, which is a ton of copies. Technically, you're going to want 19 of them. You need 14 copies to max out one, but then you want to have another one on the side to help you raise the super attack for free. And we'll talk about what that means. So what I'm going to do is I actually want to go through the process of powering him up so you see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go into this Birder, and I'm going to go to, and I'll lock this one. This will be my main Birder. I'm going to go to growth, and I'm going to go to training. Now, when you train a character, you have training items on the bottom to level them up, but on the top, you can put training partners in, and this can help raise what's called his super attack level. You'll see at the top there, it says super attack level 1 out of 10. You always want to max super attack level your characters. And the main way you do that is by using dupes of the same character. If it's a free-to-play character like this, you just farm it up and do it. If it's a summonable character, you do not want to use other copies you summon on that. You want to use them for hidden potential, and then there's other ways you can raise the super attack level. But for these free-to-play characters, you can just get dupes. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to take 9 of these birders and put them in there because he starts out at super attack level 1. So you need 9 more to make it super attack 10. So I'm going to put 9 birders in there, and you'll see the super attack is going to go up to 10. And then I'm going to auto training materials to bring him up to level 80. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and train. Okay. So now my birder is maxed out, but now he has an awakening. So I'm going to go to the awakening, and you'll just, I think as a starter account, they're probably just going to give you a bunch of these. So I don't think this will be an issue. There is a stage you can play to grind these out, or you can just buy them with Zenny. They make this stuff super accessible now in modern Dokkan. So I don't think it's going to be an issue for you guys to get this. So you just awaken them. Okay. And so now he's awakened. So now we have to level him up some more. So we're going to go to training. Now his level went up to 100 instead of 80. So I'm just going to do auto. His super attack level is still 10 out of 10, so I don't have to worry about that. So we're going to awaken him again. Okay. And then I'm going to awaken him again. And now this is going to be with the medals. And then this is going to make him level 120. Now before I do that, we're going to leave him in this UR state. Because the moment he gets to UR level 100, you can start to do the hidden potential. You want to do this first before you awaken him too far. So I'm going to go to growth, and then I'm going to go into hidden potential. So what this is this is like a grid where you can give the character more stats and some effects. But every character is going to have 4 nodes that you have to unlock, and you can only do this with dupes. So if you're doing this on a summonable character, this is why you don't use them for super attack. The summonable characters, you only want to use your dupes for this. So I want to click on each of these glowing kind of locked areas, and I want to select a copy of Birder. So this is going to get rid of 4 more copies. So in total, if you're summoning for a character on the anniversary, and let's say you want to rainbow them, which is max them out, you need to summon 5 copies of a character. As a brand new player, I would not gun to rainbow summonable characters right away. Just get a copy or 2, and then you're going to be good. And then what happens is you have to fill these nodes with the hidden potential orbs. Most characters just use generic colored orbs of their typing that you can grind in the game. But these are special free-to-play characters where you earn their orbs just by doing the stage I just did. So I'm going to do activate all, and hopefully I got enough. Yep, I do. So I have enough to do all that. And then these glowing stars, you have to actually choose what you want. For most characters, the ones that matter are like the dodge, combo attack, and crit. So right here, this fist is crit. If your character crits, they do more damage and they ignore weakness. So if they're normally weak to it, it won't matter, and it does like 1.5 times damage. Dodge means it's a chance for your character to actually completely dodge an attack. I will just tell you guys in general, dodge and combo attack are the 2 most important things in the game. Crit actually isn't as important as it used to be. So I'm going to go dodge here. And then you have to go to each one and pick what you want. So I'm going to do dodge on this one. This one I'm going to do maybe combo attack. So combo attack is a chance to actually do an additional super attack or an attack. And a lot of characters get stats the more times they super. And this character in particular, he stacks attack and defense. So he actually gets more defense every time he supers. So sure, we'll go ahead and put combo attack on there. So don't stress about this stuff right away. You will kind of learn more as you play the game. And for these characters, you can change this stuff later on if you want to. So like if you ever pick something here that you want to change later, you can use a dupe to like undo it. And with a free-to-play character, it doesn't matter. It's so easy to grind more dupes if you want to fix stuff. So you just play around with this. I'm not going to think about this too seriously because I already have this character done. But if you fill all of the orb spots, what am I missing? I'm missing these 2 here. So let's do that, and let's do that. I'm just going to pick something here. I just want to get this all done. All right. So when you get all of this hidden potential filled, that's when the character becomes rainbow. So you see I just got that rainbow sheen there. Now that the character is rainbow, now I'm going to awaken it past level 100. So I'm going to go character list. We're going to grab this murder. We're going to do growth, awaken. It'll use those medals, which you're going to get those naturally from doing that stage. So now this is called Dokkan Awakening, which is going to bring them to level 120. Okay. Now for a lot of characters, when they first come out, this will be the farthest you'll be able to awaken them until they get what's called an EZA. I talked about this already, Extreme Z Awakening. So the Ginyu Force, they can all EZA right away. So if I click Awakening, it'll tell you the medals that you need. And you can click and hold on a medal, and it will take you to the stage that you need to go to. So I can say to event, and there's something called an Extreme Z area. So if you need to know how to find this normally, you just go to the start menu, go back to event, but this time you go into challenge. And then in the challenge tab, you'll see the Extreme Z area. Now what's going to happen is there's going to be an EZA stage for each character. So I believe stage 1 is going to be for Birder. I'll double check this. Oh, it might not be actually. Oh, and see this one? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Actually, let me go back in here and see here. If it tells me. All right. So here, this will tell me. So yeah, actually stage 3 is what I need to do. So these don't line up the same. But stage 3 here is where I get Birder. So the nice thing is if you're ever on a stage and you're not sure where to grind stuff, hit this yellow eye. You can see right where I pressed right there. I'll hit it again. There's a yellow, or right here. You can see right below where I'm clicking. You hit that eye. And then you can look at an event and it will tell you what's in each stage. Okay, it's very easy to do that. Oh, my, sorry, my camera cut out there for a second, but we're good. So yeah, let's do a stage. Let's go to stage 3. Now, in an Extreme Z Awakening, EZA area, there's going to be a Z hard and a super stage. You have to run them both until you get enough medals. So there's going to be like a bronze and silver medal that you get in the Z hard stage. And then there's going to be a gold and rainbow medal you get here. You just have to grind those until you have enough. So I'll just do a stage as an example. So we'll go into here. And these ones are going to be restricted. So in here, you can use only Ginu Force or Team Bardock members, right? So you don't want to start EZAing. So what I would do is I would get the whole team up to level 120 and rainbowed. And then I would start to EZA them one at a time. So then what I could do is I could go in here and it's going to tell you certain characters are required. So let's say I go in and I start to do a Ginu team, right? So I'd pick maybe this as the leader. And then I'm just going to put a bunch of Ginu Force members in here. Now it's saying I need Tora also. I'm going to see if I need both of them or if I can get by without him. Let me just see. Yeah, it does. Okay. So this is why you're going to want to get Bardock too, because you're going to need some of the Bardock members to get the Ginu ones. The Bardock team though, I think they revamped it so where you don't need Ginu at all. So you may want to just do the Bardock team first. Get it done, because then that way when you do the Ginu team, since this one hasn't quite been revamped as much as the Bardock one, you will need some of those Bardock members to go through here, right? So let's say I just pick a team that works. I'm going to go in and do the fight. Okay, if you get the question mark, that's really good, because that means you get an extra drop. And then you just pick either side. So the left side on this one's going to be the bronze medal. The right is going to be the silver medal. Okay. And then we'll go in and fight. Basically, the way it works out is you have to get each medal. You have to do this run 3 times for each medal. But if you get the extra drop, then that would take away an attempt you'd have to do. So normally I would do 3 runs on the left side, 3 runs on the right side, and I would be done. Now, I'm going to show you the Bardock EZA, because that one's the revamped version, and that one actually is a little bit quicker and easier. So I do recommend, I think, that you guys go in and do the Bardock team first. But we'll just let this play through here. And then we'll take the kill here on Birder. I think this might just be a one-hit kill here. We'll see. Yep, okay. So that, I think, is done. Yep. Perfect. So then I got EZA medals for picking those up on the map, right? And so you do that till you have enough EZA medals. Now you might be wondering, why did we want to farm up 19 copies of Birder, right? So I'm going to go in here. I don't have enough to actually do it, but awaken. So this Birder, if I had enough medals to do it, I could awaken him all the way up and EZA him. And when you do that, when you finish the EZA, they go to level 140. But the big thing that's going to happen is his super attack level is going to go from 10 to 15. So the reason why you have extra copies of Birder here is what you're going to do with these extra copies is you're going to take one and make it super attack level 5 by combining more Birders into it. And then you're going to just awaken it all the way up to the level 120. So you're going to do this. So this is level 5. I'm going to awaken it again. Okay. And then I'm going to train. And I'm going to awaken one more time. Okay. Now, when you get it to level 120, you don't have to level it up. You just leave it at level 1. So as you can see here, I've got this level 1 Birder with super attack level 5. After I EZA my main birder, I can basically take my main birder, go to training, so I can do that. Well, it won't let me go training now because I can't with him yet. But you'd go to training and then you feed in this copy in training, and the 5 super attack level off of this will go into the other one and make it super attack level 15 for free, because you don't want to have to use Kai's or any premium items to do that. And that's the way you would properly do it on an EZA. So what I've just replicated here for Birder, for the most part, you would do that with all of your Ginyu Force and all of your Bardock members. Now, a couple of things. So let's go into the event here. Is there are going to be missions, right? So if I go into like, let me go to the Bardock here. So when you go into here, this, once again, this is structured the same as the Ginyu Force for picking up the characters. But what they're going to show you here at the end is there's an LR you can get for each team. So there's this LR Bardock you can get here. You can recruit 5 of them, which is enough to rainbow him, by doing missions, okay? Now, when you get these 5 copies, do not feed them into him for super attack level. You're going to use those just on hidden potential. For this team Bardock, you are going to have to use Kai's, I think, to get his super attack up. So there'll be Elder Kai's, there will be Grand Kai's. You will earn them throughout the game. They're also available in various shops and things in the game. But those can raise super attack level without being like a dupe of the character. And that's typically how you'll do it on like summonable characters. But since this guy, technically, he's not farmable, they're going to give you just the 5 copies. You got to make sure you just have your main copy, and then you do hidden potential. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the mission tab here. And if you go under event mission, they're going to show you how to do all of that, right? So if you go into here, like we go to the Bardock one here, they're going to give you all of these missions. So you just follow what the missions tell you to do, and you can get this, right? So the only copy I didn't earn in here, because you previously got it other ways, so I already had all 5 copies. I didn't need these. But this one, they want you to like clear an event 60 times with these members on your team. So you just grind them on like when you're doing the quest stages and stuff, just make that your team, and then you'll eventually get this one for free. But you can see there's other copies in here, right? So just beat an event using them on your team. This one's just create stage 6 of that event with them on your team. So like the first copy is going to be super easy, because I think one of them is just if you get all the team members, they give you one for free, right? So all 5 copies of the LR Bardock are in here in the missions. The Ginyu is slightly different. There's a Tech Ginyu in here. It used to be different, but what they have is you can get 2 of them via mission in here. So there's one there as a mission, and there's another one down here as a mission. Yeah, one's right there as a mission, okay? So you can get 2 copies of the LR Ginyu. The other copies, if you want to rainbow the Ginyu, you have to go to this exchange in the bottom right. This is the Baba shop. And if you go to the treasure tab, you have to scroll over. And there is something called Ultimate Clash. Battlefield Memories, actually, is what's called. And this is from Ultimate Clash. So these Battlefield Memories, you won't see it in here because I bought them out. But there's actually 2 different Ginyu LRs you can get in here. There's a physical one and the tech one. The tech one you would just get if you need extra dupes and you want to rainbow it. But the physical copy, I would at least buy one of him because he's also very good. And they both have EZAs. I believe for both of the LR EZAs, you have to just buy their EZA medals out of here. And I'm going to tell you this right now, as a brand new player, you're not going to have easy access to these Battlefield Memories right away. Because what you have to do is you have to go to Ultimate Clash. So when I go to the start page, it's this purple button here. Ultimate Clash is a little bit of endgame content. It's something where you have to have a lot of teams. Like they let you put 120 characters in here, and each character is only usable once. Even as a new player though, it doesn't hurt to jump in here and like just go as deep as you can and just start earning them. But don't expect to be able to get a lot of stuff out of that Ultimate Clash shop. So as a brand new player for the Ginyu Force, just be content with that, the 2 copies of the Tech Ginyu and you're good to go. But the Bardock team, they really set you up to like rainbow the LR and everything. So I would start with the Bardock team first. Now let's look at the Bardock EZA, because like I said, that one's been revamped and it looks a little bit better. So let's go ahead and hop into that one. So that one is going to be here. This one here, Extreme EZA Bardock Edition. And you can see their stages I actually haven't like done yet because they revamped it and they re-put them out there. So let's go into one I haven't done and let's just do one really quick. So once again, these have Z Hard or Super. I'll just do it on Super. And then they want you to use a specific team, but in this one, you can just use all Team Bardock and you're good. So I just have anybody from Team Bardock on here. Now, what this one does is instead of splitting off into 2 paths, like the other one, you can just take the top path, and I think you just get better rewards. So if you go up here, yeah, I think you just take the top path, and you're gonna get both of them. So, and you get more rewards. So just always take the top path. But it's gonna be like the other one where you have to run the Z hard one X amount of times, and you have to run this one. But I think they essentially cut it in half the amount of runs you have to do. Because since they're giving you both of them here, I think you only have to do 3 runs total rather than 6, and I think you'll get it done. I obviously haven't had to do it because I already had all of these units done. But the Bardock is going to be quicker to grind, so I think I would grind Bardock first. The whole Bardock team. Okay, and you can see here, this team is all free to play other than the leader I put on there, but that's not a huge deal. But your friend unit could be like a good leader. Now, this one does have 2 phases. That's fine. Let's grab... This is like the Tech LR, or the Int LR, for example. He's going to hit pretty hard for just having like a full free-to-play team here, pretty much. The LR, by the way, yeah, 8 million. The LR, by the way, is what you're going to want to use as your leader. They will be the best leader for both teams until you get a summonable unit that works better. Alright, so that's the EZA event for Bardock. A lot easier there, right? So, once again, I'm going to probably just keep the video to this for now. I mean, there's, once again, a million things I could talk to you about. But I'll kind of just re-summarize. And then I'll maybe just show you guys some other tabs really quick. But once again, as a beginner, start by grinding Team Bardock first. Then go to Ginu, going into those events I showed you. Make sure you awaken them and then EZA them. Get them fully rainbowed out first, following kind of those steps that I told you. But once again, you're just grinding Dokkan Quest Story. Always grind the hardest level because it auto-completes the ones before it. There's a ton of stones to grind in there for free. Do the Dragon Ball Story. If you run across a free-to-play unit that you pick up, so once again, if you want to check, you can just click on one of these stories. Click that yellow eye I talked about in the upper right, and you can look and it will show you what's in here, right? And so this here does have a free-to-play Tech Goku that goes into an LR. I'll tell you guys right now, this LR is actually pretty impressive. You won't be able to do it on a free-to-play team, but like on a full summonable team, I have this guy hitting like 18 million damage, which is actually like summonable competitive damage. So if you want like a good free-to-play unit that might work on some teams you get, I mean, that's really good right there. But anytime you see free-to-play units, I do recommend kind of stopping and grinding those out and rainbowing them if you can. It just gives you more arsenal to have. Plus, these will be units that help you out in that ultimate clash early on if you want to start to earn that. And then just some other modes I haven't talked about yet. If you go into the event tab here, there's going to be a regular story section. This here will also directly have all free-to-play units to grind out. So if you just need to start building out your roster, just look at what's in here. These are all easily grindable. These Super Strike units are actually all pretty solid at this point. They all have EZAs and they are very, very quick grinds. So even like if you're struggling to like get the Ginyu Force and Bardock teams done, maybe see if you can get some of these Super Strike units really quick and let them help you out in clearing some content as well. The growth tab, the one thing I do want to point out about the growth tab, you want to make sure like any of your once per day events that you always are grinding those every day. So the ones you want to look out for, this God level training, this is unlimited, but only do it once per day because it's really heavy stamina and the rewards aren't great, but you get a ticket every day, which is good. And you want those tickets. Anything that's weekly, so like this Master It, you want that. This Turtle School event, do that every day. Hidden potential events, you always want to do those. So these are the general potential orbs you use to awaken your characters and rainbow them. Once again, Bardock and Ginyu members, they get their own orbs that are grindable, which is super nice. But normally your characters are going to need these kinds of orbs, including the free-to-play LRs, I think, need the regular orbs. So you want to grind these because these are only once a day. And then that's pretty much it for the daily events, right? And then any of this other stuff, I mean, if you need to like grind money and stuff, you can. But I don't find most of this other stuff worth grinding. I would say as a brand new account, if you're desperate, this is where you get the awakening medals. This is where you get training items and stuff like that. but I think they're pretty good about feeding this stuff to you pretty regularly, and you're going to just have a lot of it, I think, right? The challenge tab is going to have like the EZA areas, but this is also going to have Dokkan events. It's going to have Red Zone. As a new player, do not worry about Red Zone. You're not going to be at that content yet, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Red Zone is like the highest level content in the game. If you take my advice and summon on the anniversary banners, you will be able to build a superhero team that will stomp Red Zone content. Like, it'll actually be crazy how quickly you're going to be able to beat high level content if you summon for those anniversary units. So definitely do that. But in here, you'll get the stuff that says Dokkan next to it. So I'll keep going until we start to see there. So these that say like Dokkan in black, these are Dokkan events. So this is where you get medals to awaken like your premium summonable characters. And this is where your Bardock and Ginu teams are going to come into play, because they're going to allow you to beat most of these just fine. And then that way you're going to be able to awaken your new anniversary units that you summon. So this is why you want to do the Ginu and Bardock stuff now to prep for that. Then grind up a bunch of stones, save them, and you're going to have a great anniversary and a great start to an account. So anyways, guys, let me know if this helps. Like I said, there's a ton more to this game that I can't just fit into one guide. If there's something specific you want me to make a guide on, let me know. But check my playlist, because I do already have a bunch of Dokkan beginners guides. They might just be a little bit older, but they could still apply. But if you have questions or want me to make a new guide, let me know in the comments. And then also in the video description, there's a link to my Discord. If you want to join my Discord, I or someone else will be glad to help you out in there. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.